Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I'm Mary, and my partners in crime today are Miss Ann and Miss Carmen. And we are post 250th, well, it's our birthday all year, right? Our 250th birthday of the great country of the United States of America. And I'm so proud. Anyway, so today, our show, we're going to talk a little bit about what went on out in Medora with President Trump coming and dedicating the library and whatnot. And then we'll just kind of talk a little bit about what you guys did for the 4th, and of course the 4th of July celebration across the United States, and kind of some of its origins. It's always fun to refresh that. We just take it for granted that this is what we do, this is how we do it, but you know, how did it all start, right? Mm-hmm. And then of course, we always leave you with our lighter side, but let's just get started here. Did you guys go out to Medora?
I did not.
I did not.
I had friends sending pictures, but I did not go.
Well, and I know we always have a big family reunion, so I had all kinds of family and friends over this weekend, and it's like there's never enough time. And I've seen him a couple different times in different places, so it's like, well, I'm not, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, it wasn't life or death. Was it historic? Absolutely. Yes. The cool thing is the airplane that he flew in on. It was the maiden voyage, and our very own Sinclair, one of our producers in the back, he was out there and got footage of this plane landing, and it just surprises me that our airport runway was even big enough for it.
Right. I think that was a gift from Qatar, right?
Right, and then we had it renovated, and then painted and, you know, turned into Air Force One, which, by the way, did you know is only called Air Force One when the sitting president is inside the plane? Other than that, it's not Air Force One.
Wow. You know, when they announced that he was going to be taking a maiden voyage in this plane, I had seen somewhere, and you don't know what you can believe anymore at all, and it's getting worse, but they had said this was almost like a prototype of what they were actually building for him in Qatar, or for our nation.
So was that flag up there the entire flight on top of there?
I don't know, but I saw a picture of it.
Yes.
It was like, how cool is this flag on top of the plane?
The producer in our ear just said, yes, that flag was on it for the entire flight. I just can't imagine.
How strong did it have to be?
Right. I bet it was made in America.
A reflection of our country. How strong did we have to be to get to 250, right?
Right on. And so then I know Sinclair also got him when he's deplaning. Here we go. So he's getting off the plane right here in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Wow.
And, you know, and again, we've seen plenty of footage of any president getting off a plane, but when there's one that's landed in Bismarck, I think that's pretty cool. There's a lot to say for that.
You know, and I don't care who the president is, that it's a major deal. You know, it just really is. How often do we get them?
Right, absolutely. And he's been in Bismarck a couple of times, and he's been to Fargo and whatnot. So he's not a stranger to North Dakota, and he's actually really good friends with Kevin Cramer, Senator Cramer. And I don't know if I know, Ann, you weren't here, but Carmen, were you here the time when Senator Cramer called Donald Trump from this desk?
Yes, it was amazing.
Right, and there's Senator Hoeven, and Cramer's around there somewhere, but it's just, look at all the Secret Service people. Yeah. And it's like, we're North Dakota nice, you don't need all that, but it's still good to see that he was.
You arrive in a suit, getting off a plane, we know you're somebody. It's not just by chance.
Right, right. And then I've never been in one of those helicopters.
Yeah, and wasn't Eric and Don Jr. rode with him, right?
Oh, I guess I don't know, because I didn't attend, but here they're taking off as well, so.
Yeah, I did see that Eric and Don Jr. and Melania were definitely in some of the photographs that.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. So it was just pretty cool, but you saw these helicopters, like these two right here.
Ospreys right here.
And they had been flying over our area for the last, 2-3 weeks, and you always saw them. But what they do is they scope out the area just to make sure that there aren't any, trouble areas, and they have all kinds of heat-seeking radar and whatnot, and they really do their job. And I just remember even a few years ago when Obama was he went down to Cannonball and met with the Native Americans down there, And they did the same thing. And our ranch is right on the flight path to both Cannonball and to Medora, where everything kind of comes and goes. And so we could see them all the time, both times, and it's pretty amazing.
I don't live really, really far from the airport, and it's in my path to go almost anywhere. So I saw quite a few of those things, and it was quite a sight to see and hear.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were actually out of state when all the prep work was going on, and we have a daughter that lives in West Virginia, and we happened to be out there. And it's weird that, that's so close to DC. We see those C-17s. We've seen them several different years when we've been out there, just flying by her house, and we wave, But they're huge. They're absolutely huge. They're not flying that high when they go past. It's like, oh my gosh. Well, how much of the whole motorcade was delivered in one of those planes? Is like, how much can they hold?
Well,
they deliver tanks and
and then
everything.
they're going to charge me a baggage fee.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Get with it here.
That was always
But
a
if
joke.
you have enough points or
There you go.
rewards,
then you can get that extra bag on
maybe
there.
the president has that going on. I don't know.
Well, and the one time when they were transporting the shuttle, so they had the shuttle strapped to the top of one of those cargo planes, and they flew it. So you can't tell me that there is, a baggage, that they have to charge for all that baggage.
Yeah.
Although it has taught us all to pack a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still not learning that one.
Well, hey, here's another one. This is just a TikTok that some gal made in Medora. I think we'll play it a couple times. It's so cute. Take a look at this one. So you don't see that in little old Medora, North Dakota every day. And I think the one where they were going into Boots, if you guys know the place, Boots is one of the bar restaurants right there on the main drag. It looked like they were escorting Burgum in, our former governor right here, and now he is Secretary of State. Do I have the right title?
Secretary of Interior.
Interior, right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty interesting, but it was just kind of cool, to see these, people up on all the bluffs and whatnot, and all the, they're marksmen. They can take you out.
Yep.
So
I was wishing that there would be some way that we had North Dakota, I still look at it as being pretty darn safe, most of it. There's areas where I'm a little bit leery, but I wish it could have been where we could have shut out the rest of the world and the president and Melania could have seen the musical.
Oh yeah.
I just think it would have been such a special treat for them to be so down home.
I bet they could have, because they have the security there. But we only have a couple minutes left, and I do want to show this one video real quickly. It is the construction of the library, and that's why he went out there. Let's take a look.
I think we're building North Dakota's Mount Rushmore in a place that is connected to one of the greatest leaders in American history.
This is meant to be a living tribute to Theodore Roosevelt for future generations. It's designed by Snohetta, a world-famous architect, both American and Norwegian, and they have designed a beautiful building that gracefully disappears into the landscape.
It's two buildings with one shared roof, pointed at the Theodore Roosevelt National Park, celebrating the legacy of the greatest conservationist in history.
We wanted to build a museum that didn't impose itself on the land, but could be of it and with it, and symbolically and spiritually connect with it.
I think July 4th, 2026 will be the proudest date in North Dakota history since our statehood. Rushing towards that date and that opportunity to open in conjunction with our America's 250th birthday involved a significant amount of partnership with our builders, our designers, our architects, our federal partners in artifacts to create a system where we could do such a daunting task, which was to rapidly expedite the construction of a very complex building with incredible artifacts inside it, with an audacious fundraising deadline, all around the idea of doing it on a very important symbolic date. And I hope that this is the first of a generation of projects of this significance in the Badlands. The world needs more North Dakota, the world needs more Theodore Roosevelt, the world needs more connection to the national park system, and this is just the precipice of what we can do at this place to connect people to one of the most important people in world history.
So pretty cool how they got that all put together. And I think they're still taking donations. There was a lot of private donations to help build it, but then of course there were some legacy funds that helped, and I think federal funding too. I don't have all the facts, but it was definitely a feat. And I encourage you all to get out there and take a peek at it. All right, we're going to take a quick break for now, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about President Trump getting out there. Don't go away.
Find your path to discovery, adventure, and inspiration in Lemon, South Dakota. Immerse yourself in the charm and beauty of the region's natural resources. Unearth heirs of history. Explore the unique attractions and world-renowned creations. Come see for yourself what makes this community a great getaway and an even greater place to make your home. Whether you're here for a day or for a lifetime, you can find your path in Lemon, South Dakota.
There's never been a better time to rediscover the style, reliability, and all-season, all-terrain fun of the all-new Nissan lineup at the new and improved Ryan Nissan. Whether it's the sleek and stylish Murano, the adventure-ready Pathfinder, or the reimagined, ready-for-anything 2026 Rogue, the all-new Ryan Nissan has the vehicle of your dreams at a price perfect for any budget. It's time to rediscover your passion for the road. It's time to rediscover the all-new Ryan Nissan, engineered to endure.
Yeah, U.S. Cattlemen is a member organization that each member has a vote in anything we do with policy. We're representing the independent cattleman or the cow-calf guy or an independent feeder or whatever. We like to support the independent producer. We're talking about mandatory ID, we're talking about cool, we're talking about all the legislation that's going to be coming down with the new administration. There's going to be lots of moving and shaking, so always check us out at our website, uscattleman.org.
Come on in and experience small-town hospitality and the personalized care that makes car buying a pleasure.
We know that every journey starts with the right car. Whether it's school drop-off, weekend road trips, or your daily commute, we have the right vehicle for you and your family.
With trusted brands, affordable prices, and a team that treats you like family, finding your next car has never been so easy.
We pride ourselves on personal attention and quality service. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
When I first decided to invest in gold, I was a bit nervous and unsure how to start. Luckily, I found Noble Gold Investments. From the very first call, they made investing easy. No pushy sales tactics, no gimmicks, and no confusing free silver offers with hidden fees. Just honest advice tailored to my needs, giving me confidence every step of the way. If you're new to gold investing or want a partner you can trust, visit noblegoldinvestments.com.
Welcome to where classy meets Wild West. Buffalo Gypsy Boutique of Bismarck has clothing, decor, and gifts ranging from sophisticated boho style to fun and flashy. Our exclusive brands such as Scully, Double D Ranch, and Tanner Mark provide standout style for the whole family, right down to the little ones. We always have a great selection of Kimes denim, and we proudly offer American-made jewelry and artwork. Find Buffalo Gypsy classing up North Bismarck just off Highway 83.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. On back in this segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about how when Trump arrived out in Medora, and so he flew out, I want to say, to the Medora area. I don't know exactly where he landed, and then he got on this the train with that, and we saw that train go through the Bismarck area, across North Dakota for that matter. But let's take a look at how he exits the train here.
North Dakota. What a great show for people there, too. Think of the people there. President Trump emerging here in the backdrop of the America 250 train here. We want to see if we can get some natural sound. Let's listen into the crowd for a moment as we stay with this. You know, he's so good with these moments. When you see President Trump, Mayor Scott Singer, Boca Raton in studio with me, when you see him, and you are also on the Mayor's Council of AFPI, you're running for Congress, this is really a side where President Trump relishes being with the people. He can't do it enough. He wants to be out there with the crowds as we look at these, and the crowds want to be near him.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? I know there's a lot of, he got a lot of slack on social media that there weren't very many people there, but there's just a small shot right there. And they had thousands and thousands of people, but they were all in different areas. Only so many were allowed in that area. So give the man a break, would you? All right, so here is an interesting photo that I had found. And this is when President Teddy Roosevelt getting off the train, basically just like President Trump. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
How they compared those two.
Yep. And there's a quote on that where Teddy Roosevelt had said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said when he stepped off the train in North Dakota, it basically it really touched him, and he thought this is the place.
Oh, that's cool.
To build his life again, because he came out here because his wife and his mom died the same day, and it gutted him.
Yeah.
And here he was going to be a cattle rancher somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that Elkhorn series that they did on
I did.
Roosevelt?
Yep, I watched that.
I like it.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really
New
good.
season coming up.
Awesome. Good to know. Thank you. And so here's another clip that we found, and this is the original Rough Riders. So take a look at this. This is way back in the day, and those are the original Rough Riders with original footage. And so he named them the Rough Riders.
Yes.
And what did they do? They were over in San Juan, Puerto Rico, wasn't it? Where they climbed up the big hill and whatnot.
He purposely picked North Dakota Cowboys to be part of that because he knew what they were capable of.
Yes. And I want to say there were also Native Americans involved in that as well. So that was pretty cool. But then now compare that.
It says actually that there was also the regiment consisted of cowboys, frontiersmen, Native Americans, and Ivy League athletes.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's really cool. Yep. So there's another photo of them. But let's compare that to how he was escorted up the hill just this past week by our own new Rough Riders.
Country. I saw the light in a sunrise, sitting back in a 40 on the muddy riverside, getting baptized in holy water and shine with the dogs running. Saved by the sound of a pin-found Dixie whistle in the wind that'll get you heaven bound. The devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't stick around. This is God's country.
I just thought that was so majestic. I have goosebumps.
I do. It's like God's country, absolutely.
Yes, we're like getting down to that music over here.
Yeah.
Great.
But it's so true. It really is.
Yeah.
It is God's country.
Yes, it is.
And then even going back to, when they showed the video of that, of the museum, how they have those walls, it looks like the sandstone right here or out in Medora.
I love
It's
that.
really cool. And for those that might be watching from a different state around here, we have viewers from all across the United States and up to 40 different countries. So just to explain it a little bit, there was coal out in that area, and these are kind of just, they call them the Badlands, and there's just layers and layers of different sediment that has occurred over millions of years, of course. But then they're called the Burning Hills because at some point there was a lightning strike and the coal veins all burnt. And so then that heated up the scoria with the red clay. And so it's just layers and layers of beautiful soil. And when I was a little girl, my mom always said that when God was done making the earth, he just had all this stuff left over. He said, and he just dumped it right there. It's like, there it is. And so that was always the story
That's so
growing
cute.
up. Isn't that?
Love it.
Adorable. But then we have a little bit of his speech. Let's take a look at this. And he has the Rough Riders right behind him.
Well, I want to thank everybody. This is an honor. We love you, and you've been so nice to me with those votes. We set every record in the book. But today we come to the heartland of America to pay tribute to a man who embodied the heart and soul and fight and spirit of our country as much as anyone who ever lived. And he's a very special man, and that's why I'm here, President Theodore Roosevelt. And he loved your community, he loved your state, and he was quite something. He was really quite something.
Yeah, so that's really, it's pretty cool. And he spoke for quite a while. But I had a sister coming out from Montana for the weekend, and she just so happened to drive through that area. And they stopped in Dickinson for dinner, which around here, that's at noon.
Yes.
So they stopped at Applebee's, and at Applebee's, they had it playing on every single station. And Applebee's is kind of a sports bar, and they'll have news up there and whatnot. But to walk into an establishment and have every single channel turned on to, but it was a big deal. I mean, it was on every channel, every news channel, Fox, NBC, ABC, One America News, and then of course, which one? Newsmax, the one I'm forgetting.
Right.
But anyway, so it was just playing. She said even when we went in the bathroom, it was over the loudspeakers in the bathroom.
Cool. That's interesting. I'm glad they did that. I mean, I think it's fitting that they should for a president coming to see us. So
Yeah.
And again, it
for
doesn't
sure.
matter what side of the aisle you're on. It's a big deal. It's
Yes,
a
it
big
is.
deal.
Yes, it is.
And,
for sure.
but-
For sure. I was just looking here.
I know you're looking for something there.
Well, like Theodore Roosevelt, he was, I think, and I've talked to other North Dakotans now, I didn't know any of this. I didn't know. Just last night, someone was telling me, and they're very involved in our politics in the state. They said, I didn't know he lost his wife and mother the same day, and it just crushed him. And it's like, and you think of God's hand in all of it and how it brought him to North Dakota, and he was the one who started national parks in our country. And I love this quote: "Far and away, the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing."
Oh.
And that's a Theodore Roosevelt quote, and that was just the spirit of the man. You work for it, and North Dakota still has those roots. You work for it. You don't expect it to be given to you. It's going to be hard work.
Yeah.
And we still have that, and I love that.
That persevering
Yeah.
spirit. Hey,
Yeah.
I can get through anything. I might be broken for a while, but I'm coming back up on the
Yeah.
other side.
Yeah. It's not how far you fall, it's how soon you get back up,
And the quality in which you do it,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's similar to that quote. Anything worth doing is worth doing well.
Yes.
It's kind of the same,
Yep.
and maybe that's a breakaway from that, but
Yeah.
it's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, you don't just do enough just to get by.
Right.
You'd either do it right or don't do it at all.
Or do
Yeah.
a little bit more than what
Yeah.
you need.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to take another break, and we come back. We're going to have just more details. Let's get going, and we'll see you right after the break.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
When there's a storm on the horizon, you typically don't get a lot of advance notice. So you brace yourself as best you can and rebuild when it's over. Times like these are what insurance is for, the protection of our livelihoods, our families, our homes, and our lives. We support our community coming together in times of need. As an independent insurance agency, we tailor our services to your needs. At Dakota Community Insurance, we can help you weather the storm. Talk to one of our agents today.
We are the St. Mary Sisters. We are building a new facility here in Bismarck, North Dakota, for the sake of training young women to be courageous teachers in this state. The Sisters will educate the younger generation to be fully alive through truth and discipline. The Sisters' life of devotion and joy will make a positive difference in your community. Check out what we're up to, see what's going on, and join our mission to make a difference in the lives of the children of North Dakota.
Let's be frank, it's a pain to be without your vehicle after an accident. That's why you should take it to Jerome's Collision Center. Our shop is supersized, and we have the qualified staff to fill it up and work on your vehicle, step by step, piece by piece, in crazy fast time without sacrificing quality. When you need us, we'll turn your bad experience into a good one. We're Jerome's Collision Center, and we're the best at what we do.
Hey, I'm Corey Heppola, and I grew up in a small town.
This road used to be gravel.
But a long time ago, I left to live in a big city. Now, I wonder,
Just because we're small doesn't mean we can't have nice things.
what would it be like to move back?
Man, it's mad love up in here.
So I'm traveling to different small towns across the Midwest to find out. Because what do I really know about rural living? Oh. The people.
If there is anything that you can say about this town, it's that we take care of each other.
The innovation.
So none of this equipment even existed.
And the opportunities.
It's like every year in the spring, there's always like a revitalization of just excitement.
This is my town.
Oh! Oh, jeez!
You were close. 7 episodes. Sunday night, 6:30 on Beck TV.
Welcome back, and we've been talking about the dedication of the library out in Medora, North Dakota. For those of you, like I said, watching from out of state, it's just a teeny weeny tourist town on the edge of the North Dakota-Montana border, about 20 miles from Montana, and just it's like stepping back in time. It's like stepping back into the Old West.
And thank you to Harold Schaefer for saying we can't lose this. Did you see that story where he and his son Ed Schaefer, who was a former governor here, Harold took him out there and they were standing on top of one of the hills, and Harold said, "Son, we can't lose this. This is North Dakota." The old cowboy town, the values, just the activity in the town, and then he decided he'd develop it, and now it's the place to go in North Dakota.
Destination,
you know?
yeah. Sure. My Uncle John used to work for Harold Schaefer, and I saw my very first computer. He took us into the Gold Seal building, and he took us into this room. I suppose it would be a data center, really. These great big computers are about 8 feet tall and about 4 feet by 4 feet. And then I was in kindergarten, and my teacher said that one day, a computer's going to be so small you can wear it like a watch. And it's like, no way. And it's like, and here we are,
and here we
Mrs.
are.
Bay, rest your soul. I mean, I just didn't believe her.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So anyway, we digressed a little bit there, but we had Senator Hoeven and Senator Kramer had both did an interview. Let's take a look at that.
Glad to be joined by two people who are very close to this project and to this state, Republican senators from North Dakota, John Hoeven and Kevin Kramer. Senators, thank you so much for both joining us. I know you have invested a lot of personal will into this project, and we're grateful to have you here today. Let me start with you, if I could, Senator Kramer. Your thoughts on the library and on watching President Trump open it, and the joy of Doug Burgum, whose baby this is also.
Well, certainly Doug deserves a lot of credit for championing this in the last few years, but you know, this place has been around for about 60 years. This amphitheater has been doing a show every night all summer long for 60 years as a tribute to Theodore Roosevelt. These Badlands that healed him have been a healing place for lots of people for a long, long time. And so it's a big deal, obviously, on the 250th anniversary of our country. A long time ago in a previous administration, I was the tourism director. And John and I worked together a lot in state government before we became bureaucrats. But it was the most fun I've ever had at work. And a day like today, I'm thinking, maybe should never have given up that job.
Pretty good job.
Senator Hoeven, your thoughts as we watch this and we wait now. I just want to explain so the library is just above us, up on the hill here. So President Trump will be coming down behind us to enter this amphitheater to speak in just a few minutes. But your thoughts on today, Senator?
It's absolutely historic. This is our 250th birthday. This is going to be a national treasure for this nation. T.R. Roosevelt, you know, the father of conservation. Look around. Look at those beautiful horses up behind us and the beautiful Badlands. And this library is going to be truly different. This isn't where you just come see static displays. This is the latest in AI, and you're going to get to talk to TR.
So tell us
amazing.
about this, because you were inside with President Trump, and I did it yesterday. TR stands behind his White House desk, and you can ask him questions, and you know, all of the AI knowledge that is in this animation answers it spontaneously. What did the president ask?
Well, they scheduled 15 minutes for us to tour, and President Trump spent 15 minutes talking to President Roosevelt. He wanted to talk about the Panama Canal. He wanted to talk about, you know, all the different things that TR had done throughout his life, what was his proudest achievement, all these kinds of things. And it's remarkable in the conversation how many times TR said something that you'd think President Trump would say. So he loved it. And you know what? This is a place where kids are going to bring their parents because it's so much fun with all these interactive displays.
You know, one of the things that Teddy Roosevelt did was to open the Panama Canal, and he wanted it to be in the control of the Western Hemisphere and not to have European influence in that area. This is something that President Trump wants to do as well. Do you think it will happen?
Well, if he can't make it happen, nobody can. And I agree with both presidents. I think it should be in the control of the United States. It's a wonderful, obviously a wonderful tool for the movement of goods, between nations in a safe way. But when you take your eye off the ball, sometimes bad things happen, and the president's trying to get our eye back on that ball, and I think he's right to do so.
Senators, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you. Congratulations in your home state on the opening of this very important presidential library.
Thanks so much for coming out, and we want everyone else to come out here and see this beautiful place as well.
I put in for this one early. I said, that's where I want to be, on America 250.
I've noticed some arguments in the Fox newsroom.
I know. Everybody wanted to come to Medora, so I got really lucky. So thank you so much, Senators. And we always enjoy having you on the show. And
happy 250th birthday, America.
You meant that.
Bully, as we say.
Bully, exactly.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, and to get both senators in the same room at the same time is kind
rare.
of a tough feat as well. But
we're out in the open with the man in the back.
Yeah.
Right.
Back there.
And for the people that don't know, North Dakota is one of the few states we don't have voter registration. That's one thing. But the other thing is we can go and talk personally. The doors are wide open for the people of North Dakota to be able to talk to their legislators. Mm-hmm. We can go to them at the Capitol. We can go to them at our, just meeting them on the street. It's very...
Oh, yeah. You'll bump into them at restaurants.
Yeah. And it's so different in so many states, I'm told, and it's like I can well imagine it would have to be, but North Dakota's just a whole different vibe. And if you've never been here, I'd like to invite you in the wintertime. So we want to hold on to what we have.
Yeah. Well, and so getting back to they're so approachable. I remember going to a GOP convention, 15 years ago or so, when Dalrymple was our governor. And I was just, just visiting with him, and I said, I'm just so surprised because I've been to other events and whatnot. North Dakota was the only, I shouldn't say only, but one of the only states where a governor would go into this great big, and this is before, all this tough security getting into a convention and whatnot. Anybody could have come into the Civic Center here in Bismarck. They have no security. They don't have a security guard with them. And I think Kelly does now, or he has people with him. You don't know what their duties are per se. Mm-hmm. But most of the governors around here, they just don't even have security detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is really nice too. And I guess for me, I'm newer to politics, so I haven't really thought a lot about that or had much to compare with before. But it's very true. Our legislators are wonderful. They're mm-hmm. absolutely here to represent us. They always have an ear to hear you and respond back. And I have several of them that are friends. They're just really good mm-hmm. people.
Right.
And I think back to a city. We have 700,000 in the whole state. And many cities are 2 million, a million, 2 million. It's like I can't even fathom that. And I'm so glad that I'm here.
Right. So then getting back to the part about Medora, it was a sleepy little western ghost town per se. But what they had a little bit of trouble this past weekend because there was a prediction of 20 to 40,000 people spending their time in Medora this weekend. Well, it scared everybody off because Medora is just a tiny little town to start with. There is not a lot of lodging there. I mean, it's really, we've gotten more and more over time, but you can also go camping and you can stay in Dickinson or Beach or some of the surrounding towns. But it was basically a ghost town this weekend. The vendors were upset, the store owners were upset because nobody was there. Now, they were there the day Trump was there, but everybody assumed the weekend was going to be just packed, mm-hmm. and so nobody came because they didn't want to fight with 20 to
Crowds.
40,000 people in a crowd. And so all kinds of comments on social media about how disappointed the retailers and the vendors and the restaurants were.
Well, it's a breakdown of communication, but you know, I think I'm guilty of being one of those people who says, "Oh, so many people. No, I'll just stay home."
Yeah, because we live here. It's like we can go see it anytime. And so we just
Right.
assumed it was going to be full of people.
Right.
But I do have a friend out there, and one of his friends said he wanted to thank President Trump for making Medora great again, which he meant, that was a slam, he meant it as, get rid of the tourists. But,
So let us be a sleepy town again, right?
Yeah, before it was a tourist destination, because people lived there, and back in the day, and even 10 years ago, we rode our horses, and you still can. You can ride your horses up to the restaurants and tie them up, but it's kind of frowned upon if they go to the bathroom. Some tourists aren't used to that, and then there might be a smell that's associated with it, and they don't like that either. And it's like, so the
Suck
old
it up, Buttercup.
But this
Yeah.
is the Old West. These are the real deal. These are real cowboys and real cowgirls.
And real horses.
And real horses. Amen to that. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the 4th of July or Independence Day. Don't go away.
You know the rule. No phones at the dinner table.
I know, I'm sorry. It's just Noble Gold Investments. I bought some gold for the kids.
Finally.
Well, the gold you bought me gives me so much security in this economic disaster we're having. I want that for them too.
Well, I've been investing with Noble Gold Investments for years, and I'm pretty sure they can wait until after lunch.
Invest in something you can hold. Invest in Noble Gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to learn more.
West River Equipment of Mandan is here to help you maintain peak productivity in your operation. As an authorized dealer for many high-quality equipment lines, we have the new and used equipment it takes to make your farming, ranching, or construction operation profitable and efficient. West River Equipment also has the parts on hand and the experienced technicians in our shop to get your equipment back in action fast. Find what you need at West River Equipment on Old Red Trail in Mandan.
Find relief for what ails you at Steep Me Tea Apothecary. Teas, supplements, tinctures, and more. Formulated to fight whatever has you down. We're Bismarck Mandan's favorite place to find delicious, natural, and easy ways to alleviate symptoms brought on by anything from colds to cancer. Brew a better you at Steep Me Tea Apothecary. Steep Me products may cause side effects, including but not limited to improved mood, deeper sleep, enhanced hydration, renewed sense of smell, increased energy levels, superior balance, boosted immunity, proper digestion, restored sense of calm, and a delightful smelling home.
Welcome to Radiant Retreat Tanning and Spa in Mandan, where a relaxing spa experience meets the latest in healing innovations. Take total control of your massage in our Hydro Massage Bed. Experience whole body healing in our Zero Body Cryo Bed. Let our salt sauna and halo generator restore your respiratory and skin health. And of course, tailored tanning will keep you looking as good as you feel. Discover your best self at Radiant Retreat, 1307 1st Street Northeast, Mandan.
We're from North Dakota, where 12,000 workers bring electricity to 2 million customers and provide over $5 billion in economic activity to the state, while reclaiming 22,000 acres of land. This is coal country.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. In this segment, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of Independence Day. A lot of people just call it Happy 4th of July. And it's like, no, Happy Independence Day. That's what it's all about. And it's, excuse me, it's brought to you by people that had guns.
That's right.
Yeah. And it just showed us a meme right during the break. It's like, had we not had guns, we wouldn't be having a 250th celebration.
Yep.
England may possibly still own us, or France owned a major part. France with the Louisiana Purchase, that was all that was owned by France, and so it's kind of amazing the history of our nation. And then if you do go a little bit further north into Canada, of course the French did have quite a bit of territory up there. So this is all brought to you by guns, and so let's never ever forget that.
Don't forget though, the farmers finally, I mean, they joined in, but not all of them could bring the gun because they left it home with their wives because they only had one gun, and they took off with their pitchforks. They, anything they could use as a weapon. That's how badly they wanted freedom. They had come from such turmoil in other countries, and they knew this was their shot. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
Well, and think about how they fought the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
I mean, that all started because they didn't want to pay taxes, and now our dollar is taxed so heavily. They say about 90% of everything you make goes to a tax of some type.
Yeah.
Because first of all you have your income tax, and then your state tax, but then you bought this jacket, you paid sales tax. But the cotton that's in there, there was tax paid by the cotton growers. There's taxes, it's like
absolutely taxed to death.
It is.
Yeah.
The thread, that came from a different company, that was taxed. Everything you have on, your brass buttons or whatnot, it's all taxed. And people don't understand how much we are taxed. We're taxed on everything we buy, everything we do. You go to a restaurant to eat out, you pay more taxes. And this is already on a dollar bill that you already paid your federal taxes and your state taxes on.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy.
And you paid to have the extra bills thrown into the economy for the inflation to go out through the roof.
There you go.
I mean, we pay for all of it.
But this segment was supposed to be about Independence Day.
Okay.
But we digress just a little bit. But that's how we roll around here. So let's take a look at this clip. And I want to say this was from Britannica. But let's take a look, and we'll talk on the flip side.
That's what they want.
Most American colonists were still loyal to King George up until the 1770s. But when England subjected her subjects to increased control over colonial affairs, it started a revolution. A 5-man committee was appointed to draft the Declaration of Independence. This outlined the colony's desire for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. On sunny July 4th, the Congress approved the Declaration of Independence. The first July 4th celebration happened on July 8th, when the document was publicly read in Philadelphia. The crowd reacted with gunfire, bonfires, and fireworks. This custom was borrowed from England, of all places, which is how subjects rang in their king's birthday. Only in the colonies, they were celebrating the king's symbolic funeral. As King George sat safely on his throne in the summer of '76, his likeness in crudely fashioned dummies was burned in the colonies. In New York City, the equestrian statue of King George was hacked up and reportedly smelted into bullets for the Revolution. 1 year later, citizens of Philadelphia honored Independence Day with fireworks, bonfires, and music. During the Revolutionary War, troops celebrated the Declaration's anniversary with double portions of rum. Actual bombs replaced the fireworks. After the colonies won their independence, cities across the U.S. relived the revolution by participating in the July 4th revelries. Men commemorated the day by gathering in taverns to drink and argue over the new nation's leaders. It was a purely American custom to freely criticize the government. On the 50th anniversary, by eerie coincidence, both the Declaration's author and its editor, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, died July 4th, 1826. Eventually, Americans looked at Independence Day not so much as a day of rebellion, but as a day to appreciate the rights bestowed on them. In 1870, as America was healing from the Civil War and African Americans were freed from slavery, Independence Day became a recognized holiday. But if federal workers wanted to spend the day picnicking, they did it without pay. That changed in 1938, when Congress voted to make Independence Day a legal holiday. Since then, the holiday has been celebrated in good times and in bad, in war and in peace. American communities rallied together, all because of that small act of bureaucracy in 1776 that started a free nation.
Independence Day in this solemn year of 1941. In the nation's capital, in every city, town, and hamlet of these 48 states, America marks its 165th birthday. Across the nation, 130 million free people enjoy a thoughtful holiday, a day for reckoning the full meaning of the American way of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. From Hyde Park, the people's president, elected by the people, addresses the nation, and his words go to a Europe that knows little of Independence Days.
My fellow Americans, in 1776, on the 4th day of July, the representatives of the several states in Congress assembled, declaring our independence, asserted that a decent respect for the opinion of mankind required that they should declare the reasons for their action. In this new crisis, we have a like duty. That is why we are engaged in a serious, in a mighty, in a unified action in the cause of the defense of the hemisphere and the freedom of the seas. And so it is that when we repeat the great pledge to our country and to our flag, it must be our deep conviction that we pledge as well our work, our will, and, if it be necessary, our very lives.
Wow.
I would say there are many, many today that lack that conviction and the knowledge and the guts to be the kind of outlaws that you have to be to uphold freedom anymore. So I say, remember not to give your guns away and speak up and speak out.
And think of those families back then didn't have an internet, didn't have, probably the post office was probably more reliable back then than it is today, but still, they waited day after day after day to receive a letter from their service member that was overseas somewhere in a war that they had no idea what was going on, if they were alive or dead. There was no FaceTime. There was no telling your kids good night. There was nothing.
Right.
And what they lived through, and they sucked it up, and it's like, okay, if we've lost one, they grieved, but then they got back to work because they knew that freedom was that important. And we just have lost so much of that. And how do we get that back?
Amen. But we have one, because we're almost running out of time for this segment. I wanted to show this because in the New York Harbor, or there's different harbors out east, they did a big ship kind of parade. Let's take a look at this one.
Today we're celebrating the International Review along with Sail 250. We're expecting over 70 ships from 55 different nations, including tall ships and vessels representing foreign navies. Today we've come together with members of different nations in order to celebrate America's 250th anniversary.
What a sight to see. And then 75 different nations were being represented. And then if you watched any of the news or on social media, because they won't show it on the news, mind you, different countries were holding celebrations for us and were lighting up their buildings in red, white, and blue.
That's really cool.
It was beautiful. And there it goes, the chills again, because it's like we are a great nation. And I think now that the soccer cup that was over here, people are finally learning and sharing that we are a great nation. We're the greatest nation on earth.
Yes,
and now we just have to convince our Democrat friends of that. Shouldn't have to. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back with a lighter side. Don't go away.
There's never been a better time to rediscover the style, reliability, and all-season, all-terrain fun of the all-new Nissan lineup at the new and improved Ryan Nissan. Whether it's the sleek and stylish Murano, the adventure-ready Pathfinder, or the reimagined, ready-for-anything 2026 Rogue, the all-new Ryan Nissan has the vehicle of your dreams at a price perfect for any budget. It's time to rediscover your passion for the road. It's time to rediscover the all-new Ryan Nissan, engineered to endure.
Are you dealing with arthritis, nerve and back pain, dry skin, or superficial wounds, but found no relief? Give Stewart's Natural Health a try. For over 4 decades, Stewart's Natural Health has been helping people and animals with herbal and natural oil lotions, ointments, and creams with a mission to help you relieve pain and feel your best using the power of nature. Discover the safe, drug-free solution to your pain, guaranteed or your money back. Visit stewartsnatural.health today.
Welcome to where classy meets Wild West. Buffalo Gypsy Boutique of Bismarck has clothing, decor, and gifts ranging from sophisticated boho style to fun and flashy. Our exclusive brands such as Scully, Double D Ranch, and Tanner Mark provide standout style for the whole family, right down to the little ones. We always have a great selection of Kimes denim, and we proudly offer American-made jewelry and artwork. Find Buffalo Gypsy classing up North Bismarck just off Highway 83.
West River Equipment of Mandan is here to help you maintain peak productivity in your operation. As an authorized dealer for many high-quality equipment lines, we have the new and used equipment it takes to make your farming, ranching, or construction operation profitable and efficient. West River Equipment also has the parts on hand and the experienced technicians in our shop to get your equipment back in action fast. Find what you need at West River Equipment on Old Red Trail in Mandan.
Welcome to Arrowhead Cleaners. Newly renovated, modernized, and ready to make your cleaning needs hassle-free. From commercial and residential wash and fold laundry services to the latest in professional dry cleaning techniques, we are dedicated to your unique needs, offering alterations, fabrications, and even custom hat making. So whether you're a busy professional, a family on the go, or even a rodeo champion, Arrowhead Cleaners is here to take your things from messed up to dressed up. Now celebrating our 64th year in Arrowhead Plaza.
Ashley, North Dakota is where life moves a little slower, but never gets dull. From hunting, camping, and fishing to safe streets where kids can be kids, this is the best of small town living. And Ashley offers everything you need, from healthcare to hardware to countless ways to stay active. Here, we've invested in our future with major upgrades to roads, parks, and education. Whether you're here for the day or here for life, you'll find Ashley's where you ought to be.
Welcome back. Carmen was giving us some information about Old Ironsides on the break. Why don't you tell our viewers?
Well, that ship that was on the last segment was named the Constitution. George Washington named it, and then they took and they had 2 layers of oak wood in between each outside wall, and it got to be called Ironsides because when the British would fire their cannons on that ship, many of the cannonballs would fall into the ocean. They wouldn't even make a dent in the ship because of that extra insulation. That was so cool to.
And then he said that the Navy actually nurses they have an oak tree nursery.
Yeah, they have I think it's 100 acres of oak trees that they nurse so that they can replace that wood every 10 to 12 years or something like that because of the moisture and all the things, so that ship stays tip-top.
Right, and that forest, they don't harvest the trees until they're 200 years old. And so this is something that's ongoing, just a lifelong generation.
Nurse those
millennial
trees.
After millennial.
Yeah.
All right, so I did find this for the lighter side, and it was our military, like when I say bad guys, they're the good guys, but they're the ones you send in if you need something done. Take a look at this. They're parachuting in tandem.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
So that was in Cody, Wyoming. And Cody, Wyoming has a rodeo every single night during the summer, and it's a big tourist destination. But those were made up of former Navy SEALs and a special op veterans. They fly the giant American flag in the Cody Stampede Rodeo for Independence Day. And so it's pretty cool. When I say bad guys, I mean the bad guys you want on your side. They're good guys, and it's like you don't want to mess with them.
Yeah.
They're the ones willing to fight for freedom.
Amen.
And just like our founders did.
Yeah, and you were saying, you know, Carmen, what is really the answer? I always go back to education because I think social media is educating our children and what's going on in the public school system. And it's like, we gotta tell people, this is your history, this is what you have to fight for. You have a responsibility to fight for it.
Yeah, well, and they signed the Declaration in 1776. 1787, 11 years later, they had to call the Constitutional Convention because the states were falling apart. There was so much bickering in between everybody. And meanwhile, after they signed the Declaration, that's when the Revolutionary War really started. I never knew that till I was in my 50s. It's like, how could I never have learned that? How could I never have been taught that?
The information was never offered to you. Now, like you were saying on one of the breaks too, they talk more about what that Marxist book. What's
Karl Marx.
Karl Marx. His book is read more in the high schools and colleges than our own history books.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't help myself from rolling my eyes on camera.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to hear that kind of thing, but you can see it in our population because they're so ill-informed, and that's very sad to me.
And so confident in that, you know, misinformation.
Yeah.
It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And so I guess our advice to you, you know, teach your kids the history. You know, it is Independence Day. It's not National Barbecue Day. That's what it has turned into. That's what they want us all to believe. It's Independence Day. It's how we fought for our freedom, how men and women died saving this country to break away from England and all the different wars after that, for that matter too, the Civil War. You know, and I want to make one more correction. It was San Juan Hill was in Cuba, not Puerto Rico. I digress.
And we got to give credence to God for the freedom that we have in our country. And He's really the foundation.
Absolutely. Without God, we don't have a country. It's God, country, family, and in that order. So we'll see you next time right here on Ladies of Another View. Ladies of Another View on back. No cuts. Real people. Real news. Yeah. Real.
Yeah, that thing.
Anyway, we'll see you next time. Go save your country.
Ashley, North Dakota is where life moves a little slower, but never gets dull. From hunting, camping, and fishing to safe streets where kids can be kids, this is the best of small town living. And Ashley offers everything you need, from healthcare to hardware to countless ways to stay active. Here, we've invested in our future with major upgrades to roads, parks, and education. Whether you're here for the day or here for life, you'll find Ashley's where you ought to be.
We are the St. Mary Sisters. We are building a new facility here in Bismarck, North Dakota, for the sake of training young women to be courageous teachers in this state. The sisters will educate the younger generation to be fully alive through truth and discipline. The sisters' life of devotion and joy will make a positive difference in your community. Check out what we're up to, see what's going on, and join our mission to make a difference in the lives of the children of North Dakota.
I'm Gary Emmett, host of Open Range. We've been at this for the past couple years. Representative Matt Heilman of Bismarck and former legislator Brandon Pritchard are going to do some regular segments on Open Range. While we cover a lot of politics, we're still going to be continue doing mostly all things North Dakota. One exception, Friday evening, I'll be doing a new show on Open Range called On the Horn. This show will be long interviews of 3 to 5 hours with the people I'm interviewing. They'll be airing week after week on that Friday evening. So thank you for being a part of the Beck TV and Open Range family.
Come on in and experience small town hospitality and the personalized care that makes car buying a pleasure.
We know that every journey starts with the right car. Whether it's school drop-off, weekend road trips, or your daily commute, we have the right vehicle for you and your family.
With trusted brands, affordable prices, and the team that treats you like family, finding your next car has never been so easy.
We pride ourselves on personal attention and quality service. Facet Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Hey y'all, it's Trent on the loose. I want to tell you, Lady Blue and I, we got a lot of miles together, but you know what? You and I got a lot of miles together as well. And all I want to do is bring to you the information on how we maintain a domestic supply of food and fuel for future generations. So I'm going to continue to travel the world and unearth the stories that make it possible that we can live in a free United States of America.
I'm Corey Heppola, and a long time ago I left my small town for a big city. Now I wonder, what would it be like to move rural?
Just because we're small doesn't mean we can't have nice things.
This is my town.
Man, it's mad love up in here.
Sunday night, 6:30 on Beck TV.